Good morning, good afternoon, dear all. It's 5 minutes past 2 in Central European Time. It's my great pleasure to start this webinar on TeleNursing about Nordic e-health national strategies for nurse. At this moment, I just would like to check. Okay, now I see that Pirko is also online. Welcome, Pirko. I will grant you moderator privilege because you are one of the speakers. So just a second, please. You are now promoted to presenter. Okay, so I think we can officially start the session. I hope you can hear me. Would you please, Costas, confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All right. So officially starting the session. Dear coordinator of the ISfTeH TeleNursing Working Group, Konstantinos Antipas. Dear invited speakers, the nurses Kati Molstad from Norway and Pirkko Kuri from Finland. And dear affiliated members of the ISfTeH, colleagues and partners. Good morning for some of you, good afternoon for those living in Europe. On behalf of the ISfTeH, I welcome all of you to the 4th webinar organized by our society in this year. Today, the very special theme of the webinar will be Nordic National Health Strategies for Nurses, a session that will be moderated by the coordinator of the ISfTeH TeleNursing Working Group, Konstantinos Antipas from Norway. At this moment, I would like to inform that this webinar, transmitted via Anymeeting platform, will be recorded. So the content of the slides show and the respective audio will be available to those colleagues that for some reason couldn't attend the live session today. The access link to the recorded session will be informed in around 24 hours and posted on the ISfTeH website. During the webinar, a chat box will be available on the left side of the screen, so your comments and questions are quite welcome. At the end of the presentations, Mr. Konstantinos, the moderator of this session, will open a time interval of around 10-15 minutes for questions, and a round of discussions is expected to be held with the active participation of the audience. Please use the chat box for that. And before going through the outstanding topics and presentations of this session, it's my mission and honor to say some brief words about the International Society for Telemedicine and Health, mainly directed to the audience that is not yet familiar to the ISfTeH. So, the first slide of our society is this one. So the ISfTeH is a non-governmental and non-profit society headquartered in Basel, Switzerland, and the mission of the ISfTeH is to facilitate the international dissemination of knowledge and experience in telemedicine and health, and to provide access to recognized experts in the field worldwide. Our society is, as I said, is a non-governmental organization in official relations with WHO. Now, more than 100 countries are represented in the ISfTeH through association, national members, institutions, corporate, startup companies. So you can see that so many people around the world are part of the ISfTeH family. In order to achieve its objectives, its goals, the society has several working groups. And since now, we'd like to invite you, those that are not yet members of the ISfTeH or the working groups, to participate. You can see a lot of working groups that are active in different areas like students, nurses, cardiology, dentistry, and so many others. So we have the women working group, the francophonie, chronic disease management. So there are so many opportunities for participating of the activities. Also, the ISfTeH organizes annually international conference in different regions of the world, in different continents. This year, Pirko is one of the speakers today. The conference was organized in a cruise between Helsinki and Stockholm in March. In the next year, the annual conference will be held in conjunction with the Portugal eHealth Summit in March in Lisbon. So, since now you are all invited to participate of this very important conference. In this year, around 10,000 people attended the Portugal eHealth Summit. So, that's a nice opportunity for those interested in telemedicine and health. And also, the society organized a series of web conferencing sessions for nurses, students, and webinars in general that are organized, in fact, by different working groups, the same as we'll have in a few moments here. Also, there are other activities that the ISfTeH promotes. So you can also take advantage of the quarterly newsletter of the International Society for Telemedicine and also the journal of the ISfTeH. So those are all possibilities that you have to participate. Again, the journal of the International Society is coordinated by Professor Maurice Mars and Professor Richard Scott. There are different membership categories, and that can be also an opportunity for those that are not yet affiliated to participate of the ISfTeH. So, national, associate, and the new corporate startups are a new category that was open. Nurses and students are an exception in terms of membership because this is totally free of charge membership categories. Students just for those up to the level of MSc. It's for undergraduate students mainly. Well, requesting affiliation is a quite easy process, so anyone interested in participating can easily go to how to join area on the ISfTeH website, and this is really very easy to register. Right now, I'd like to also announce the next webinar that will be promoted by the ISfTeH in early December, is December the 5th, to be organized by the Teledentistry Working Group. It's about the use of telemedicine in oral medicine, the telehealth experience in the state of Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil. Dr. Vinicius Carrard will be the invited speaker. So thank you very much for that. Additional information you can find at the ISfTeH website. And let's go right now to the presentation of the TeleNursing webinar. I'm right now changing the slideshow. And we'll see the first slide. At this moment, I am very pleased to invite the coordinator of the TeleNursing working group, Konstantinos Antipas, so he can start his presentation and coordinate this session. Mr. Antipas, welcome.
Thank you very much, Adolfo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Please.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. And I would like also to welcome all of you, those that are watching this webinar live and those that will watch it at a later time from the recorded session, to this webinar. More or less, it's the first webinar I'm coordinating as chair of the TeleNursing Working Group of the International Society for Telemedicine and Health, so I might be a bit stressed. And this, the theme of this webinar today was in the discussion, if I remember correctly, with Pirko Kuri, that is also going to present the Finnish strategy. And the characteristic of Nordic countries is that they have developed e-health national strategies. That the national nursing associations have developed e-health strategies, which is very interesting for me and I guess for others that as nurses to know what for our association to give a general direction But I think we will find more about this later. I wanted to introduce shortly our working group. It has about 130 members, nurses from all over the world. And our vision is it's that our nurses will extend their reach through technology and improve the quality of healthcare delivered worldwide. And one of the techniques or two of the methods that we're using is TeleNursing, which is telemedicine for nurses, and eHealth. Our mission, as you can also see, is to provide a forum for exchange of knowledge and experiences of nurses and others who are working with or supporting nurses using eHealth applications. And for those that you are a member of our working group, I would suggest that you use our network to come in contact with others, to come with suggestions for other webinars or other activities we do together. I want to mention that after a previous webinar where Dr. Clarissa Rodriguez presented her interest in her research, we are in discussion about how to send the survey. So hopefully at some point you will receive a survey. Those that are members of our telenursing working group, you receive a survey where we will ask you about your research interests and your research competence in telenursing and eHealth. And one of the reasons for this is to map the needs, the competence that already exists, and also the needs of our members, so we can think and design activities that will address these needs. And use, of course, the competence that already exists in the group to address these needs. And those for you that you're not members of our international society or of our working group, I would recommend that you become a member. As Adolfo mentioned, membership for nurses is for free, and then you will get also the chance to use our network. And in this working group, I'm the chair, but I want to mention that I receive, there's a lot of help by the vice chairs, which is Pirko Kuri, that's also presenting today, and it's also I remember, I think it's the vice president of the National Society for Telemedicine and Health, and also Claudia Bartz, that was the former chair of this telenursing working group. So, first in the program is Kathy Molstad from Norway, senior advisor for the Norwegian Nursing Association, and she will present the Norwegian eHealth strategy for nurses. And then is Pirko Kuri, the principal lecturer at Savonia University of Applied Sciences in Finland and vice president of the International Society for Telemedicine and eHealth. Is Kathy ready to start?
Hello, Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Can you hear us?
I see her microphone is muted.
Yeah, but I don't know if she's online, probably. Well, do you prefer to start with the presentation of Pirko and then return to Kathy, Costas?
That's okay if Pirko is ready.
I hope so. Yes, she is all right. So you can unmute yourself, Pirko, and we can change for your slides.
Yeah.
I can change for your presentation. I'm just changing the slides now.
Okay.
Just a second,
Just
please.
one.
And this is the first slide. All right.
Yes,
Welcome.
and you can. Hello, Adolfo and others. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, that's
clear.
Okay, thank you. And finally, I succeeded to come because I had to change my laptop to my husband's laptop because I didn't have the Chrome system. So thank you for this opportunity to discuss here related to Finnish eHealth strategy for nurses. So as you can see, I marked Finland with the red black arrow. So we are member of the European Union, and also we collaborate closely with the Nordic countries, which Kathy, the other presenter represents. And I think that the Nordic countries that's important because we share quite similar well-established systems of healthcare and hospital services with advanced specialist treatment. And also I know that all the Nordic countries have done their e-health strategy. Maybe Sweden, Norway, Denmark and Finland more focused on nursing care than Iceland, which is more like a professional type. So how we come here? So we have challenges: the aging population and the workforce, especially in the Europe, but in Finland we are already lacking professionals, and is a lack of nurses. So we have to think what to do otherwise, so we can have enough healthcare force to take care of our patients. And if you think about, the OECD has estimated that 2020, by that year, there's a lack of million health professionals in the European Union. So definitely that means that the 15% maybe can't get care enough. And also because people are getting older, the 10% of the population is using 80% of social and healthcare resources. So this is a kind of internationally thinking. And also there is an acute need for from the perspective of fundamental social rights to increase inequalities and also strengthen the carrying capacity of organizers. And according to our legislation, for example in Finland, we need to have services nearby the citizens. So we have to obey the law and try to find ways how to deal with the situation, so that we can have new equality services and also new indicators how to measure them. And then some starting points. As I said, in Nordic countries there's a strong citizen participations in the use of and development of e-health and social services. So when we think about how people can participate, we think that they take better care of themselves and have a capacity to self-management. And via technology use, this is possible. So we want to promote equality and client-oriented care. And also that our citizens know growingly how to use digital services. And of course we are elderly people who don't use, so there's still existing a digital gap. And one element is the mobility and freedom of choice of our citizens. So and also when the society is changing, nurses have to change at the same time. So they need to, as users, they need to know how to use the services and how to realize them. A kind of new competencies are needed. The strong competence is nursing combined with both willingness and ability to work in new ways. So this is a kind of challenge all the time, and so that nurses find their place in the entity of services, and also that they understand that we call customer, client and patient with the same term, but meaning of a citizen who is using the services. So citizen can use services which are nationally produced, like some service portals or portals related to different illnesses. So and there are also locally produced services for our citizens. So knowing this, we started Finland also our share of the development, because in Finland we have done systematically over 20 years how we develop digitized social and healthcare services. And one of the I think the biggest and the latest development is our national archiving system, health information system called Kanta, which includes electronic prescription services, MyKanta pages with the citizens can see, and also patient data repository. And I think that if we first had 1960,
Sorry, Pirko, for interrupting you. We cannot hear you now. Costas and Pirko. I hope Costas can hear me and Kathy, but I can't hear Pirko.
No, me neither. And it seems that she's not in the attendee list anymore.
Yeah, she was disconnected for some reason. Well, let's see if she can reconnect in a short. Probably she just clicked on that disconnecting from the session. Let's see what happened. Well, let's wait at least 1 minute because it would be better.
I see that Kathy is unmuted now, and maybe she can present. It's good that Pirko is online again. It seems
again.
to be
Yeah,
connected.
she's returning. Yeah, let's see. Welcome back, Pirko.
Yes. Pirko, can you hear us?
Pirko, you are back now. If you can restart. Hello, Pirko.
hello, can you hear
Okay.
me? And I don't know what happened. How much did you hear?
We are waiting for you. Please, you can continue from the same slide. Please go ahead, and we can hear you very, very clear now.
Okay, so sorry for now. My mic is echo, but you can hear me just
Yes,
one voice.
please. You can continue, please. That's okay
Yes.
for us. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So I was vice chair of the group, which was invited by the Finnish Nurse Association, and we created the e-health strategy for nurses. And you can see from the link and reach out the whole text. And the objective is that nurses know how to use information and communication technology in nursing effective and responsive. and we think that the nurses should just 1 minute. I put my voice down because I it. So we think that one basic is that nurses should have basic need of skills in use of technology, data and information literacy, and also how to manage information knowledge which is around us. And they need to have possibility to deepen their knowledge in specialized studies. So all our bachelor level nurses have in e-health and telenursing issues. It is penetrating the curriculum. And also we have master's degree studies and also a possibility to have PhD studies in the field of nursing informatics, which is a kind of part of the telenursing and e-health. So we have this Finnish Nurses Associations. This ISfTeH strategy has 6 different elements, and all these elements have also objectives and then the means how to realize this. And e-health and services and competencies, I think it's very interesting because nurses training involves 5 areas of expertise: learning, ethics, working place skills, innovations, research, and internationalization. So we have objectives for all these e-health services and competencies, and also this how to what kind of nursing level of competency based on experience and training. And in this strategy, we have utilized this stacker strategy. So generally it starts on basic competence and skills and e-health literature, and up till that our informatic innovators. And hopefully you can have.
Can you hear me? Sorry for interrupting, but it's difficult to follow when there's so much echo. If you can turn down the volume from your computer.
I have. Sorry, I have tried. I will try to do that. Do you mean the volume of my own? This is there now echo? Now it's completely. I put it down. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little better, but you can reduce the volume. It probably will improve the quality of your audio.
But is it any other device connected to the?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's good.
Is the echo for you?
No, now it's okay.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry for that. So we think that the nurses develop and use e-health services in caring, rehabilitation, etc. So the nursing is what it has been for many years, but now we use new means to fulfill, in addition to have new services and so. And we have also, the motto will be, we will provide support either by ourselves or with the help of technology. And we are not serving clients so that we are doing for themselves, but we want them to produce the health data and result outcomes of what they are doing via self-care. So there is a change in role of nurses and clients. I think in many countries there's a paternalistic approach, so that the patient is a kind of target. But we think that the patient-centered care is growing now. Patients have freedom of choice. They are more active. They choose health and welfare service and want to be part of the process. And nurses have a new role, a kind of health goals mentoring, they are coaches, and they are more as partners. So we can provide targeted treatment and personalized services. And I think that the monitoring from hospitals home and backwards will be more and more active. And we collect data from different sources. And there still are non-verbal, but also face-to-face interaction. And in Finland, we have two national huge projects provide services provided by the university hospitals and services provided by the public health providers, depending are you a kind of diabetes patient or are you have some other health problem. So the services are flexible and you can reach them anytime, anywhere, and there are more options. And then there are changing roles between nurses and clients, as I said. And also the health data will be more open and to be seen for both professionals and patients. And I think that it challenges both the clients and the professionals, how they can document better and more precisely. And still there are diverse services. There are traditionals and new ones. And nurses, in order to market new services, need to have new skills. Konstantis, I can't see any other. I don't know what happened here, but suddenly there is an echo. I'm so sorry.
It's a bit difficult to follow sometimes. Roberto, is there something we can do, or?
Or maybe I try to.
Yes, you can continue. You can try to follow the slides, speak slowly, and we can follow you because it's probably related to your headset. We cannot use this kind of built-in microphone or table microphone. And if you have some speakers, please continue. Yeah.
Yes, I have a new headset. And anyway, I think that nurses are part of the multi-professional teams. So everybody can bring their own expertise in the caring process. And here's a kind of slide where we illustrate our view of this ISfTeH strategy. So there are multi-professional teams who provide digital service development in co-creation. And of course we want that the patients are informed and empowered and they feel healthy and they are active using different technologies. And I really challenge you to co-design with patients and clients together. We had a recent study where memory disease patients were interviewed how to use technology, and they give multiple tips how to develop technology. So even those patients can share ideas. And in my mind, nurses play a key role in carrying out and improving patient-centered care. Even are they working in hospital or at nursing homes or public health care centers, nurses are in a key role. And thank you. I'm sorry for the echo.
Thank you very much, Pirko. Kostas, should I return to the previous slides?
Yes, please. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you, Kathy. Please go on.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the mix-up there. One more. Okay. Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, whatever suits you. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. My name is Catherine Mølstad, and I'm a senior advisor at the Department of Nursing and Health Politics in the Norwegian Nurses Organization. There's a mistake on this slide. It says the platform for e-health from 2017 to 2000. Now that's a big mistake. It should be 2020. So just I said that. I will present our let's see. I'll present our e-health platform. I just want to give you a little bit of background. The Norwegian Nurses Organization has over 110,000 members, and almost all nurses are a member. The population is 5.5 million, so we're a small country. We have a single-payer health system, and the nurses have a bachelor education, and the professional title nurse is protected. So we have many rural areas and some rather large cities. So. And we have an insufficient number of nurses. This e-health strategy, we've had e-health strategies actually since 2004, and we have developed these over the years. And this version is from 2017 to 2020. And this platform is developed together with the specialist group for e-health and Department for Nursing and Health Politics. And my colleague Merete Lyngstad she's a participant here. So it's they're a lot of work, they're a lot of fun, but it's difficult to write these things. There are a lot of similarities between the Finnish and the Norwegian platform, but the purpose is to disseminate and promote target areas to members and organizations and stakeholders and authorities. That in itself is very difficult. We need to prioritize our efforts and give a direction for the processes within each area. And it helps the organization to work together with common goals and outcomes. So our e-health goal is a little bit complicated. So I've put it in 4 boxes. First of all, it's the patient's needs with a high level of user involvement, and this is exactly what Pirkko was talking about. The patient should achieve an independent life and coping illness and health problems, and nurses should have competency in e-health, which we're striving for. And they contribute to the development of nursing practice for the population. So the patient is patient-centered care. So we have 4 strategical targets. The first is to promote the nursing professional working processes in our EHR systems, and we would also like to have the integration of a terminology, specifically ICNP, International Classification for Nursing Practice. And this will we need to strengthen health professionals' need for interaction. The second area is to strengthen patient involvement, to strengthen their independence and coping with health problems. The third is to improve competency and development of knowledge. Now, this could be the patient, but it's also the nurse. And innovations, the fourth area is the innovations and new methods for providing nursing care. Quite like the Finnish strategy. So the first area, I'm going to go a little bit into depth because we have actually had a good result here. Working processes and consensus concerning nursing terminology. Now, why would we be so interested in this? Not all countries are so, but we think that this has to do with patient safety and continuity. The EHR systems we have in Norway do not support our working processes sufficiently, and there's very little decision-making support. The quality of nursing documentation varies from sufficient to very insufficient, and nursing does not have any common language in this country. And so, therefore, there's almost non-existent reliant nursing data. So what have we done? We have 4 approaches to this, realizing a common language. The first is that we have translated ICNP since 2000. We have also collaborated and partnered with developers of the ICNP, and that we've done since 2000. The Norwegian Nurses Organization evaluated various nursing terminologies in 2008, and ICMP came out with the best results. We have lobbied high-level authorities about the importance of nursing and nursing terminology, and we've did this since the year after the decision about ICMP. But the decision was, we had an evaluation of these nursing terminologies, but it was just nurses, not just, but it was nurses that were involved in this, and my organization leaded this, chaired this. Yes, and we have we have collaborated to a large extent with the Center for Information Systems and Research and Development in Portugal since 2015. So we have worked very hard in these areas here. So, and what we really needed to do was to generate interest across the profession, because most nurses, they want good systems, but they don't really know how to get there. So we have we arranged multiple workshops, including nursing colleges and universities. We've instigated projects developing and testing standard nursing care plans using ICMP, and we have established a Center for Research and Development together with the University of Ogden. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. The results. The result was that in October 2017, the high-level task force group was established by the Department for eHealth, and this took us 8 years. We have been trying to do this since 2009, and the conclusion in June this year was that they recommended the use of ICMP together with SNOMED CT. So we think we should really celebrate this. It's taken us 8-9 years to achieve this. So. That being said, the next area is to strengthen patient involvement and independence in coping with health problems. And why is this? The Finnish strategy told a lot about this. There should be an increased involvement in healthcare and freedom and independence, and increased patient safety. We have not had enough focus on this. And preventing and delaying increased nursing services so that patients don't need our services as much as others, if we can prevent them from getting sick. And so more effective health services, easier to prioritize. The third area, we're striving for results in this area. There's a successful widespread e-messaging in this country, and the Norwegian Nurses Organization has absolutely contributed to this. Nurses want and need more digital communication with their patients, and this is an ongoing process. Accessible healthcare information for our patients. Many hospitals out there, they have a website that they can go and look at their information. Patients and family they should have sufficient knowledge about the technology that they're using, and we don't really know. That's why there's a question mark. We don't really know enough about that. And nurses have influence over purchase of technology systems. We also have to do something about that, because they don't always have that control. But there is a national program for care technology, which is helping the situation. So the third area is improved competency and development of knowledge. And why is this? eHealth is not sufficiently integrated in nursing curriculum. This is this is a big problem for us. So, and today's nurses are not getting the sufficient enough learning programs. So, and nurses are not always involved in decision making concerning IT solutions. So, this makes the situation quite complex. Results, we have a strong push at national level for integration of eHealth and nursing education. So there are guidelines, there's a reform in the nursing education curriculum now, and we have been involved in this. And our terminology workshops have targeted specific nursing groups that has increased awareness about this. So the fourth area is innovation and new methods for providing nursing care. So we think that eHealth and knowledge development and healthcare reforms can be done through innovation, and we need new models for healthcare, and nurses have a potential opportunity for innovation. So we have one of the few nurses organization in Europe have an innovation platform that we use that helps us in contributing to new models of healthcare. The trends in e-health and care technology are used in many institutions and home healthcare and hospitals, and remote monitoring is on its way. It's just in the beginning. There are opportunities and prerequisites for use of technology. We need a lot of more discussion. There are what solutions should we use, what's best for the patient, what's good for the nurse. These things have to be discussed. And promoting that technology will improve patient care. So the conclusion is we have succeeded in several target areas, but we hope in the long run that our patients, that the point is the patients are empowered, the nurses are empowered because of expert knowledge in the field of e-health. And we absolutely believe that e-health strategies are very useful in this work. It's very political. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Constance, please, would you please continue? The microphone is open.
Yes, thank you very much to both presentations. And Pirkko, even if it was some echo, your presentation was very good. And thank you, Kathy. It was also very informative, your presentation. And I would like to invite all the participants to come up with questions. I can see them in the chat, or if you send them in this, I guess there's some functionality for questions. But I have some questions myself. Do you know other initiatives from other countries, and to what extent this has been helpful to the development of the e-health strategies in Norway and Finland? Or do some of the international organizations like ICN provide some kind of similar strategy?
Pirkko is here. I was part of the expert team, and within 3 years we built the e-health pillar in the ICN. But I think that it needs to be revised, and Miss Claudia Parts has been active member, but now she's retiring, so I don't know what's the situation now.
And you mentioned, sorry,
sorry.
Please continue.
No, I was just going to say I'm not sure about what is happening at ICN with that, but they do have an e-health program, but maybe it should be revised. I don't know.
But you know of other countries they have similar strategies and that maybe inspired Norway and Finland, or if you know if Norway and Finland inspired other countries?
I do not know. I do not know. I do know Sweden obviously has one, but I'm not. I don't know how old it is. I don't know much about it. I think they just revised it actually.
Yes, in Sweden it was revised. I had a presentation last year where I studied also all the Nordic e-health strategies and all they have, but I think that Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark are in forefront, and Iceland.
I see a question from Etienne Saliez. I hope I'm saying this right. How far integration of patient records shared by both nurses and doctors?
Could you repeat that, Kostas? I'm not sure I understand.
I guess the way I understand it is, and Etienne can clarify maybe more, but I guess first, is it like the health record in Norway, for example? Is it shared by both nurses and doctors? Do they read the same record?
They use the same electronic record, yes.
No.
And it's the same in Finland, and near future we are trying to have patients to be involved in the same electronic health record. Now patients have the view, they can see healthcare data.
Before I repeat Patricia's question, I want to ask Pirkko. You mentioned that there's an introduction of a national health record? Is it covering all Finland, and it will be
Yes,
one?
yeah. Yes, it's a national. It's a totally national. Yeah.
And to what extent it was the development of this or implementation of this health record affected by the e-health strategy for nurses? Or to what extent the nurses were involved in that?
Yes, I think they were, because nurses have their own part there. The nursing documentation is part of the electronic health record.
Patricia's question is, one of the trends I'm seeing in digital health startups in the US is the increasing emphasis on artificial intelligence. These companies are focused on scale, and what I'm seeing is much less direct nursing involvement, which really concerns me. Are you seeing anything similar? Do you emphasis on artificial intelligence and focusing on scale and not on direct nursing involvement?
Actually, in Finland, I think that we have projects especially related to technology used among elderly people in care, and I think nurses play a role. I think, and we are studying also the games gamification and technology. There are groups, and I think some nurses are involved.
In Norway, we haven't gotten that far. I know they're doing some research around this area, but I can't really say more than that.
If I can comment on this question, I had a question regarding the different, like what's the reception of the state authorities and what is of the private sector. And I think this is relevant for this question, Patricia's question, because in the US it's so much private initiative. And to what extent in Norway and Finland government is taking into account these strategies, and what the private sector, like the electronic health record vendors?
I'm not sure I understand your question, Kostas. Is it concerning the vendors? Or
it's both. Like, and to what extent, for example, the Ministry of Health or the Health Directorate in Norway knows this strategy and use it?
Yeah, I don't know if they use it. I wouldn't. I don't know about that. But we have presented it a number of times. And of course, our vendors, we have been trying to work with them as well. Some are interested, some are not.
Mm-hmm. And in Finland, I know there is also like a lot of there are also many startups in Finland. Do they know what the nurses mean about e-health?
I think yes and no, depending. Of course, those who have been providing e-health patient records, and so they know, because we had 2 national projects. I think maybe 5 years ago or something like that, and I was involved on those. And when we were connecting with all those main health records providers, so they know. But of course, the role of medical doctors is stronger.
Patricia, was your question? Did you get the answer to your question? Did we understand your question?
And well, Costas, and I see that we have some other comments here from Veronique from Lyon, Veronique Touvenot, and she says, we look for developing a list of nurse influencers in e-health in 2019, based on the women influencers in e-health 2018. Then we have the link. So that's the message coming from Veronique, is part of the attendee chat. Okay.
Yes, and then.
And once again, Veronique says, in France, the electronic health record is completed by the patient that authorizes nurses and doctors to add information. That's a comment from Veronique.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And Pirko is writing that the private sector. What is this about the access of the patients or the users to the e-health to the electronic health record in Finland, and what is in Norway?
In Finland, all the patients, of course not children, but the patients have access to the healthcare records. They use these banking codes, and they can access the health data.
In Norway, in the north of the country, they have access to their EHR system, and in the western part. But in southern Norway, they do not have that. And this is just hospitals, not nursing homes and home health care and such.
And actually, Pirkko is I wrote it also. Now we are social care, social services. Now we are trying to have them as part of the electronic health record.
But I think this is an important point because both presentations focus on the patient-centered or user-centered approach that we should have in health in general, which is a very important issue for nurses and also in health. But do you see other differences between the health strategies of or the e-health priorities of different professional groups? What is this difference? What makes our nursing strategies different than other professional groups? If you have experience with that.
I have been in Finland. I have been discussing about with the physiotherapist and biomedical technicians and those, and I have strong courage to have similar strategy. Because of course there are some generic features, but we still have own associations. So I think we should have maybe some multidisciplinary strategy.
And I'd just like to say that one of the things that we've been trying to implement is getting our working processes integrated in the EHR systems, and other professions don't necessarily understand our working processes. They're a bit different because we have care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we need detailed documentation to give our patients continuity, to provide them with that. So it's important for other professions to understand how we're working.
I think it's very interesting what you're saying. Like when you, for example, systems in Norway that they are slow in adopting a ICNP if this is what the nurses want, and as nurses are so, I don't know who is the biggest user of a health record, but I would think there's a very big group of electronic health record users.
Yeah, but they're not. The nurses are not usually the profession that are influencing decisions. So that's been a problem. I mean, you're maybe not even invited to a meeting. I mean, it's better now, but it takes money for the EHR systems. If they're going to use the terminology, they're going to have to do something with their platform, and it costs money. And many of these countries, these companies, they're not very big, so maybe they don't have the competence either. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. So it's been hard to get it's been hard to get attention. Let's put it that way.
Pirkko, do you have any comments on that?
Yes, I was typing here because I have an echo now. So I think that we faced, when we had this national project related to the Finnish care classification, how we can have the documentation accepted. We discussed a lot about what is our possibility to influence. And I think it takes time, but also we need to have discussions with, for example, medical doctors, so that we avoid duplicate the similar information collected from the patient, so that we can really use the information gathered by the professionals, and also in the future what the patient has written. That's important.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And I have a question to the speakers. And what about the new technology, the new equipment that are coming to serve for home care for elderly people, so you can monitor, for example, cardiac status like cardiac output, blood pressure, oximetry. We are starting to test one of those equipments here in South Brazil, and this is okay valid for people with 50 or 60 years old, but also for elderly people. And it seems to be not so easy to manage this kind of equipment, because you have calibration, different size of the arm or the finger. So do you have experience with this kind of multi-parametric technology for home care? Is that something that will result positive in terms of easily monitoring the health status from home?
Actually, I have been involved planning that kind of project in collaboration with the Sweden Umeå area. And I think in Norway you have done that kind of experiments too, if I read right. But I think it is a kind of hot potato here too, how to monitor cardiac patients at home, and also the process from the discharge from hospital to home. If you go to hospital, how do you get precise information and reliable information? But I think, Adolfo, you are doing well if you are uh, having project around these issues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, I see that some devices are not so easy to use. So the elderly people to need someone from a friend or a nurse or a family member to help them monitoring on a daily basis cardiac parameters and other glucose levels, etc. So I know everything will be from time to time adapted to the real scenario, and so allowing elderly people to manage by themselves the equipment and the teletransmission technology. But sometimes it's not so plug and play. And
But I think that
kind of barrier. Yes, please.
I think the technology definitely will be more user friendly, and we have quite many studies related to how elderly people accept technology, and how if they can co-create, so that it is easy to use, and results are good when the tool finds the proper user.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. Then we have some comments. Konstantinos, can see the attendee chat from Veronique once again from Lyon. Then she says that leadership of nurses in e-health is essential. I fully agree. Yeah.
I fully agree with that as well. We don't get anywhere unless we have leaders interested in this field and willing to make it a success and invest in it. So, and that is a problem here as well.
I can see Patricia's also another comment. If primary care providers, she first says that she's using a psychotherapist system designed for psychotherapists in her telehealth practice. but it works very well for her telehealth consultations. And she's asking if our primary healthcare providers are using electronic health records in Norway and Finland. And
Yes, yes, they are using, because it is, you can access to the healthcare report on National Archive system.
Yes, I'd just like to add that in Norway, almost everyone uses an electronic health record. So they have them in nursing homes and at home healthcare and such. They usually use the same. They use the same system.
But we do have a problem that is we have many different healthcare systems that are fragmented. Is it part of the strategy that there should be more communication between them, or?
Yes, of course. We want to have better communication with the physicians and the GPs in the community care and nurses. They do a lot of e-messaging now. So the nurses do not have access to the physician's record system. The nurses in home health care, yeah, and that's a problem.
Can I ask one question? I know that Pirkko is working in education. They have this master. To what extent this health strategy in Finland is driving nursing education?
As I said, that for example, in our organization, it penetrates the bachelor level education, so we don't have separate courses, because actually it's not anymore new technology in some way. It is the way our nurses need to work, and the master in digital health, it is a totally online master's degree program. It's the very first in Finland, and I think that so far now we are two groups. The first one has started last year, and we interviewed students, and quite many of them said that the program contest for the working life changes, and they were happy to learn new things. And the PhD degree program is provided by the University of Eastern Finland. And I think that we have to push that we have those persons who are digitally oriented need of healthcare.
And in research, what is, for example, the priorities of the e-health strategy? Are they also followed by nurse researchers in e-health?
Yes, because the e-health strategy emphasis that nurses should have research how the processes are working, what are the outcomes, and what are the indicators. And so there's a lot of discussion in this area, but definitely there must be research.
And in Norway, I read you mentioned that it's part of the curriculum or nursing education.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. Sorry.
No, there's very little e-health in the curriculum. But as I said, they're revising the curriculum, revising the education, and they've been working on this for a year or two, and it will be finished soon, I think. And we have been we've been lobbying to get e-health integrated, and so there are a lot of good people been working on it. So we're very hopeful.
But what about research in Norway? Sorry, Pirkko, please go ahead.
Yes, I just because in 2015 our Prime Minister launched 9 principles how to add digitalization in the working life, and one is the healthcare and education, and it's a kind of must to have it integrated. e-health and telenursing, and so.
And it's in compliance with the nursing Finnish nurses as organization priorities, or the government have a different approach.
Because when we made the strategy, we studied both European Union documents and documents made in Finland.
And Kathy, in Norway, what do you think about the research? Is it nurse researchers are following the priorities set by you, looking at the areas that are important?
That's a good question. It's kind of hard to answer. I know the university in Agder is going to be working with ICMP now. That's quite a lot of research in several of the universities and colleges, but I really don't have any oversight over that right now. Maybe you know more about it. I don't know.
I'm trying to follow the suggestions as a nurse researcher, but sometimes it's difficult when the funders' priorities are different. So you have to comply with them, but then the Nurses Association maybe could work with the funders, like a research council in Norway, to make it as a requirement. But thinking of all the people from other places in the world that are attending this webinar, I was wondering, can you say, maybe, I don't know if it's maybe the last comment, but also a comment on, is it worth the effort to have to develop an e-health strategy by a nurse association? Is it worth it when you see the results that you have achieved?
I would definitely say so. Of course, it depends on the nursing organization. Do they represent most nurses? That's a really important question. Otherwise, you won't have much authority. We would never have gotten ICMP as we hope to have as a national terminology without our work, all we've done. No way. So absolutely, it's worth it.
Pirko? Pirko, can you hear us?
Now, can you repeat your question?
Based on your experience, is it worth the effort to work towards an e-health strategy, nursing e-health strategy?
Yes. Yeah, definitely, because I feel that I have done my PhD related to these issues, and even 1996, when we had our first strategy, nurses were involved as part of the healthcare staff and what they should have, new skills and whatever. I think nurses have this area has matured so much, so that we need our strategy.
I hope that then it's okay if, or I would suggest to attendees from other countries that they don't have e-health strategies, I would suggest to talk to their national nurses organization and maybe suggest that they will come in contact with Pirko and Kathy, if it's okay, for suggestions for strategies.
That sounds great.
And if there are other countries that they have e-health strategies, I would also like, I'm very interested to hear from our members to send us links, and maybe we can see all these strategies together and find similarities and differences. Thank you for this. I don't know if it was very interesting discussion for me. Adolfo, maybe you have some words?
Yeah. Yes. My words are of thanks to all of you, because that was really a very, very interesting and presentations also showing the view in different countries, Norway and Finland, about telenursing and the future of telenursing. So you have this very, very motivated team of people participating of the ISfTeH telenursing working group. So that's a nice opportunity to start joint activities under the umbrella of the ISfTeH. So I thank you very much on behalf of our society for this very important webinar, and expect to have your participation in the next year again. And that's all from my side. I'd like also to thank the audience. We had around 30 people participating of this webinar, and that's something important for the society. And I would like just to announce the next webinar once again, in December the 5th, about teledentistry. So from my side, that's all, and I thank you all. Konstantinos, please say your final words.
Thank you again, and thank also the audience for the interesting questions. I hope we got to answer them. As I said, I'm looking forward to receive suggestions for future webinars. We are in discussion with Patricia. Maybe that she will present in our future one of the future webinars about nurse practitioners' use of telehealth in the US. It's I hope a very interesting experience for us in the rest of the world. I want to advise everybody that is not a member to subscribe, to become a member and become a part of our network, and we can plan together future activities for our telenursing working group. And thanks once more to Pirko and to Kathy for the very interesting presentations. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
And goodbye. Hope to see you in Portugal in March by the occasion of the ISfTeH Annual Conference 2019. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye all.